Hi, everybody. It's Miss Becker back again one last time to help you work through selection 4 of our audition music. Because if you are auditioning for Wind Symphony, you would like to be considered for Wind Symphony, you need to record selection 1 and selection 2 and selection 4 in order to be considered for the top band. So make sure that you've worked on all 3 of those selections for audition, you're hoping to make it into that ensemble. So let me start by sharing my screen with you so I can work through it with you and help you learn that selection. So you'll notice that in selection 4, there are lots of 16th notes. There are also some dotted 8th notes with 1/16th note. That is a rhythm that we didn't get to in our beginner classes this year. So like a dotted quarter note is the equivalent of 3/8 notes tied together. A dotted 8th note is the equivalent of 3/16 notes tied together. So once I get to measure 2 and measure 3, I'm going to think about the first 3/16 notes in each group grouped together in my brain. So I would count the dotted 8th note as 1E and a 2. The first 3 notes of measure 2 are 1E and a 2. 1E and a 2. So thinking the 1E and in my head once I get to those notes. So I'm going to start by clapping and counting. I'm also going to pay attention to the fact that my key signature has 1 flat, B flat, key of F, which is the same as concert E flat. Many of you will have different flat notes in yours, or none if you play saxophone. So pay attention to that. There are going to be some notes affected by your key signature in here. There's not many. I see 3, I believe. 3 notes affected by the key signature. Just make sure you've paid attention to that as you've worked through this selection. The other thing to notice is the time signature, again, is 3/4 time. So I'm counting to 3 in each measure, not 4, just 3 over and over and over. So I'm going to go slowly through the counting and clapping and through the naming and fingering, just because there's a lot of notes in here. And the tempo does say allegro. It's going to go around 100 when I actually play it. But for the counting and clapping and the naming and fingering purposes, I'm going to go much slower than that. I'm going to set my metronome to 64. Here is clapping and counting through all of selection 4. 1, 2, ready, and go. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 1E and a 2 and 3. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3. 1E and a 2 and 3 and a 1 and a 2 and 3 and 1E and a 2 and 3 and a 1 and a 2 and dot. And 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and rest. So that's the counting and clapping. Again, I know that's really fast. I would do it in smaller chunks when I was practicing so that you get a really good feel for the rhythm. This is from a piece of music called Procession of the Nobles by Rimsky-Korsakov. If you want to also search that on YouTube, there's lots of great recordings so you can hear what the whole piece sounds like. It's a really cool piece. The next step, I'm going to name and finger, and I'm going to name and finger even slower just because I don't want to get this wrong. Here we go. Naming and fingering. And again, I'm paying really close attention to my key signature. Here I go. 1, 2, name and finger and go. F, F, E. Let's try again. Ready, set, and go. F, F, E, F, G, A, C, G, A, F, G, G. G, F, G, A, B flat A, G, F, E, F, D, C, G, E. G, A, B flat A, G, F, E, F, D, C, G, F, G, A, F, A, G, A, B flat A, G, F, E, F, D, C, G, F, G, and dot, A, F, F. Rest. So that was really quick. And again, I would go really slowly and I would do small, small chunks at a time to make sure I nail the rhythm and nail the notes before I tried to play the whole thing together. But I'm going to take the tempo up to 100 when I demonstrate the playing for you. Here I go. Hope I don't make any mistakes. 1, 2, 3, ready, set. And there you have it. That is all of selection 4, which you need to record if you want to be considered for Wind Symphony. So happy practicing. I can't wait to hear all of your audition music when you make your video and submit it to us in Google Classroom. Good luck to everybody. You guys are super well prepared and you're super smart, and I know you can do a great job.